Okay, good day everyone. Today's session focus on national and local planning frameworks, a core topic in DPA 406, Advanced Project Planning and Implementation. This subject is essential because it explains how development plans are crafted, aligned, and implemented across different levels of government. Understanding these frameworks helps future public administrator ensure that projects are not only technically sound but also legally compliant, socially responsive, and strategically aligned with national priorities and local needs. This discussion will allow us to see how theory translate into actual governance and project execution in the Philippine context. At this point, I will now give the floor to our presenter, Sir Dr. Joseph Dimaano, no, who will walk us through the key concept, no, the structures and application of national and local planning frameworks. Please listen attentively, take note of the example, and reflect on how these frameworks apply to your own workplaces or communities. You may also prepare your question for our discussion after the presentation, or you just simply post in our chat box. Take it away, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, my dear docmates. Good afternoon, uh, Dr. Abante. Uh, uh, my give under XSM as a context of my presentation. So you will be seeing different examples about tourism and different examples about planning that is actually related to tourism. Planning is not simply a technical activity, it's a governance responsibility of the state. So why planning matters? Planning matters because it prevents project failure. May kasabihan nga po tayo, if we plan to uh, uh, if we publish now without planning, development becomes reactive and disorganized. So the objective of this lecture is to explain national and local planning frameworks, understand how planning guides the sustainable planning. So for my planning philosophy, I know we have different philosophies when it comes to planning. Later po, I'll be uh, uh, showing you the frameworks. But are the three pillars of sustainability. This ensures that development, community involvement, youth, and indigenous peoples included din po dapat dito yung ating mga BWDs, people with special needs, inclusive when it comes to planning. Private captures. And for number three, and the most important thing, is sustainable planning. Sustainable planning ensures protection of natural resources, prevention of culture, preservation of culture rather, and benefits for future generations. Sa amin po sa tourism, we have a very important note na lagi po namin hina-highlight na yun pong whatever we are enjoying right now as a Filipino, as an individual, yun pong nature, yung environment, yung social development na meron po tayo, utang po natin to sa future generation. Hindi po natin siya utang sa ating mga ancestors. Kasi po, we will all pass. Yung pong ginagawa po natin, why should it be sustainable? Because we want to protect everything for the benefit of the future generation. Now, what is planning? Planning is a governance tool, a legal mandate, a strategic decision-making process, a risk management mechanism, a development management system, and in general, planning helps government anticipate problems and allocate resources wisely. Like what I've mentioned po kanina, my presentation is anchored with tourism, and as an advocate of sustainable tourism, these three pillars are one of the important things that we have to balance when it comes to economic growth and development and the impacts of development on community or social values. We have to remember three important pillars. Number one is the economic. Number two is the environment. And number three, of course, is the society. We also call it the three P's, the people, planet, and profit. So when it comes to project planning, we have the project planning cycle. The project cycle includes planning, programming, budgeting, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. If you will notice po my project cycle na nandito po, dalawa po yung monitoring. Why did I put two monitoring po dito aside po sa sana ma-perfect po yung circle, no? But monitoring ensures contract compliance and service quality, while evaluation measures impact, efficiency, and sustainability of the PPP projects, or as an example, the private-public partnership project. Most of the time po kasi we always have a very good planning. Programming and implementation is very good. Budgeting, of course. Pero dun po tayo pumapalya sa monitoring. If you're going to notice and if you will check different destinations aligned with tourism or anchored with tourism, marami pong mga destinations po ang napabayaan because of lack of monitoring. And in planning, it's very important for us to monitor everything around us. So in governance perspective, planning promotes number one, accountability. Officials answer for decisions. Number two is transparency, open access to information, which is ngayon po, isa po ito sa mga pinagtutuunan ng pansin ng turismo, no? And I believe most of the agencies in the government are having more open access to information po. Participation, of course, very important pong citizen involvement. The rule of law, again po, disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer, but we all know that the rule of law is important because due to compliance with legal standards. No, ito po yung ating mga guide for everything that we are doing, and equity is very important as well. No, we're promoting this, particularly the last one, equity, for fair distribution of benefits. Legal foundations, planning is supported by the Philippine Constitution, the Local Government Code of 1991, Public-Private Partnership Act, Government Procurement Reform Act, and of course, the environmental laws na matagal na po nating, what do you call this? Matagal na po nating ine-enjoy. National planning frameworks po that we have the Philippine Development Plan. We also have the Philippine Development, the Public Investment Program or PIP, the National Infrastructure Program, the National Tourism Development Plan, and the Sustainable Development Goals. With these planning frameworks, we're able to create a better planning, no? Particularly po if you're going to focus on tourism, kailangan po ang National Tourism Development Plan po ay naka-anchor sa ating Philippine Development Plan, okay? And yun pong ibang mga agencies po like the private-public partnership, very important po na alam po natin siya. However, like to my docmates po, isa po to sa mga subjects po natin sa Doctor in Public Administration. And we're lucky po kasi tapos na po kami dun sa subject na yon, yung ilan po sa aking mga docmates ngayon. And ang bago po na sa lahat po na nandito is the Sustainable Development Goals na pinlano po ng United Nations, or this framework was actually established by the United Nations Development and this one, we have the roles of the national agencies. These are the national agencies that are responsible when it comes to planning. The key roles of this national agency, we have the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA. Their role is to evaluate the PPP projects for alignment with the national development priorities. The Department of Tourism, they formulate tourism policies. Department of the Interior and Local Government strengthens local government units. Department of Public Works and Highways implements infrastructure projects. Public-Private Partnership, or the PPP Center, provides technical assistance, project structuring, and contract advisory to LGUs. And of course, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources to protect the natural resources that we have in the country. Local planning frameworks as well are very important. Different po sila sa national planning framework. Baka po malito po yung iba. So the local planning frameworks po, we have the CLUP, or the Comprehensive Land Use Plan, regulates land use and zoning. Comprehensive Development Plan sets the development priorities. Local Tourism Development Plan guides the programs, or the tourism programs. Annual Investment Plan lists yearly funded projects. And the last one is Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Plan, na very important po, particularly nabigyan po lalo ito ng importance during the time of pandemic. No, most of the areas here in the Philippines, tayo po mga Filipino, we're always claiming that we are very resilient sa lahat po ng mga countries around the world. Pag bumabaha po, we are smiling, lumindol na po, we are very resilient. But despite resiliency, we need to have a risk reduction management plan na hindi po lang tayo dapat resilient. We have to prevent these risks from happening. And papaano po natin ito magagawa in the context of tourism, yung local planning po and national planning na magkasama po sila, dapat po maayos po lahat ng ginagawa po nating planning to avoid casualties and to avoid further problems for our fellow countrymen. So local planning process, number one, we have to do the situation analysis. We have the visioning. Kailangan po meron tayong vision. After we analyze the situation of one particular destination, it's very important how we envision that particular destination to be in the next 10, 20, 40, or in the long run. Then after visioning, we have the strategy formulation, kung paano po natin iaayos yung atin pong tourism development plan, investment programming, approval, implementation, and very important po, like what I've mentioned kanina, na kadalasan po na nakakalimutan natin, particularly here in the Philippines po, na monitoring is not that, not that accepted. In the academic side na lang po, or in the context of the academe, may mga professor po na ganun. Kapag ka po meron pong negative po na comment sa kanila na alam naman po nila na applicable sa kanila, yung negative comments ng estudyante sa evaluation at saka sa monitoring, medyo nagkakaroon po ng problem. Dito po sa country po natin, karamihan sa mga Filipinos, we're always afraid of being called, or we're always afraid po na mabigyan po tayo ng evaluation, lalo na po negative, no? And monitoring. However, this is very important. We have to have that open mind for us to improve our planning, no? And to improve one particular destination or whatever goals we are doing. This ensures participatory planning. Now, national alignment is very important. The Philippine Development Plan guides the Comprehensive Development Plan in the Philippines. Actually, 2 years na lang po, magpapalit na po ng National Tourism Development Plan at ng Philippine Development Plan po. But we're very happy na some of it po ay na-attain po, pero we have to accept the fact na hindi po lahat po ng laman ng development plan po ay na-reach po natin. No? So how are we going to improve this, or how are we going to implement our plan better? No, meron po tayong tinatawag na public-private partnership. Public-private partnership, a collaboration between government and private sector to deliver projects. So the benefits of this, it's risk sharing, resource pooling, efficiency, and innovation. So yung PPP agreement po, it's between the government and the private sector. Meron po tayong iba't ibang framework or legal framework po when it comes to PPP. Ito po yung napag-aralan po namin last year. Public-Private Partnership Act, the Build, Operate, Transfer Law, the contract law, and regulatory compliance. These laws ensure transparency, legal authority for PPP contracts, allocations, and project ownership. Planning tools that we can use, we have the logical framework approach, stakeholder analysis. This one is very important po, no? In whatever project we're making, whenever whether it's for tourism, whether for its what part of development, it's very important for us to have a stakeholder analysis. Here in Valenzuela po, I have one example here. In Valenzuela po, we have one na matatawag po namin isang tourist destination po talaga na uh, very successful po in a way para po doon sa mga goals namin dito sa Valenzuela City, the Tagalog Fishing Village. However, if you are going to communicate with the stakeholders, si Tagalog Fishing Village po kasi is a stagnant area. Wala po siyang masyadong establishments before we develop the area. And most of the people po, 6 p.m. pa lang po or 5 p.m. sarado na. If you are going to do your research about Tagalog Fishing Village, si Tagalog Fishing Village po ay isang what do you call this? Isa po siyang residential area na karamihan po ng nakatira ngayon. Pagka po tinanong mo po during the old times, taga-Tagalog ka ba? Ang feeling po ng marami pong nandito sa area po na medyo malapit lang po doon sa Tagalog is parang taga-bundok, something like that. Kasi po, 6:00 ng gabi po, wala nang mga tao, patay na po ang ilaw, at wala ka ng masakyang tricycle. No? So, come 2016 po, inayos po ng LGU, ng Valenzuela Local Government po, yung Tagalog Fishing Village, at ginawa po siyang isang tourist destination. Successful po tayo when it comes to developing the area in terms of tourism, kasi po talagang dinarayo po si Tagalog Fishing Village. No, dinarayo po siya ng maraming mga turista, dumami po ang business opportunities, marami po tayong restaurants, maraming mga paluto, marami pong mga kiosk, may mga coffee shop na po na na-establish. But because of stakeholder analysis, dito po namin nalaman na hindi po progress lang ang importante when it comes to planning. Importante rin po yung peace and order dun sa lugar. Kasi number one po na problem na kinakaharap po noon, no, before po namin ma-address dun sa through stakeholder analysis yung destination, is that yung mga yung mga residents po ng area, pumayag po sila na magkaroon ng tourist destination doon sa kanila. However, upon the establishment po ng destination, na-realize po nila na yung tulog po nila, yung pahinga nila na istorbo na po ng mga turistang dumadayo. Kasi po before po 6 p.m., 7 p.m. sarado na yung mga bahay, but because of tourism na hindi rin po nila anticipate during our first stakeholder analysis, no? Napansin po nila na dumalas po yung ingay, medyo may mga maggugulo po, minsan hindi maiwasan po yung away dahil po minsan may mga nag-inuman po dun sa area. So, stakeholder analysis is very important when it comes to doing our planning tools. Hindi lamang po before we start during the planning process, but even in monitoring po na process, kailangan po we analyze the lives of our stakeholders. And aside from that, we can do feasibility study, cost-benefit analysis, risk assessment. Yun lang pong peace and order, risk po yun. May risk po doon sa mga sa mga nabanggit ko po kanina. And very important po ang environmental impact assessment. Kasi po in tourism, we believe that no amount of progress can buy history and our respect to the environment, economy, and society. Very important po yung environmental impact assessment doon po sa ating planning process. Now, after doing this and having these planning tools, we can proceed with the implementation. So of course, sa implementation po, nakapasok yung procurement, contract management, quality control, budget monitoring, again po may monitoring po ulit ng budget, and the legal compliance. In the tourism case naman po, I'm one of the developers po, no? I'm one of the person involved po in Cotabato City Tourism Development. I want this to give as an example as well, aside from Tagalog Fishing Village. We conducted local government unit planning. We had the Department of Tourism support. We have the private sector investment. At napaka-importante po ng community participation in everything that we do. And of course, environmental safeguards. Bakit po importante na magkaroon tayo ng comprehensive, inclusive, and sustainable planning? Yung comprehensive po, madali po nating maintindihan. No? Lahat po tayo as future doctors, we are always after being comprehensive. No, gusto nating comprehensive lahat. Pero kadalasan pong nakakalimutan dito yung inclusivity and sustainability po ng isang destination. Ano man pong ganda ng ating mga projects, ano man pong ganda ng ating mga vision for one particular destination, we always have to consider every individual. And now I would like to go through the inclusive planning. Sa pagtatrabaho po na naka-anchor po sa planning or aligned with planning, it's very important for us to think from womb to tomb. Dapat po yung bata po, nasa tiyan pa lang po siya, iniisip na natin anong mangyayari dito sa batang to, paano makakatulong itong proyektong ginagawa ko dito sa batang nasa sinapupunan ng isang ina. No? Lumabas man po siyang normal, meron pong disability, or ano man po siya, member man siya ng LGBT, pagdating ng araw niya, it has to be inclusive for every individual. It has to be sustainable as well. Bakit po? Kailangan pong ma-enjoy ng future generation lahat po ng ine-enjoy natin ngayon. No? I'm referring to the positive side. Ano po? Though yung mga negative side po ay hindi naman po natin matatanggal sa buhay natin, pero when it comes to planning, we're always of course visioning a very beautiful, a meaningful, no, and a happy future for everyone, no? So the other one po, in the tourism case, laliman pa po natin. The social development case po, Cotabato City pa rin po ito as an example. We've executed livelihood programs for our individuals, no? But for you to do it, you need to assess. You need the assessment. You need to have partnership with non-government organizations. You need local government funding and outcome monitoring. What you can see here po in this picture are the people from Cotabato. Disclaimer po, hindi po ako from Cotabato City. I'm just one of the key persons po sa tourism development ng area as a consultant po. And ito pong nakikita po ninyo dito ay isa po sa pinagmamalaki po ng Cotabato City na inol. Inol po ang tawag po dyan sa tela po na yan. Handmade po siya. At nung unang panahon po, particularly here in Manila, if you're going to, if you are like me po na nasa tourism na very observant po, mababa po ang tingin ng Filipino sa kapwa Filipino. No, the social development po, if you are into tourism, you will understand po na tayong mga Filipino po ang pinaka-racist sa lahat ng mga nationalities. No, pag lumabas po kayo, halimbawa si Dr. Isip, minsan po you can do it in your classroom. No? Sabihan niyo po ang estudyante na mukha kang Koreana, mukha kang Chinese, mukha kang Japanese, no? Tuwang-tuwa po ang mga estudyante. No, kinikilig pa po. But kapag tinawag mo po ang estudyante na ikaw mukha kang Bisaya, mukha kang Badjao, no? Mukha kang Ita, mukha kang Igorot, nagiging offensive po para sa maraming tao. Number one po na reason is because we have lack of social development. We want to be humane sa mga salita po natin, but we don't have that particular understanding about the society, particularly the indigenous people here in the Philippines na meron po tayo, no? So kami po sa tourism, napaka-importante po ng mga social development case po na ganito kasi po we want to improve the lives of our indigenous people, no? We want to improve the lives and it promotes inclusive growth. Ngayon po, we're very proud na yung atin pong inol ay ine-export na po from Cotabato City papunta po ng Malaysia, ine-export na po siya dito sa Manila, ina-adapt na po siya and hindi po tayo titigil sa turismo para po mas mapalawak pa po yung understanding natin sa mga textile pa lamang po ito, no? Sa textile at para mas maintindihan po nila kung ano po yung pinagdadaanan ng atin pong mga indigenous people at mga local community members, no? So livelihood program starts with a needs assessment to identify the skills and resource required by the community. The local government then works in partnership with non-government organizations like what we are doing to provide training, technical assistance, and support services. Local government funding ensures that this program are implemented and sustained, though outcome monitoring officials track progress and measure impact. Overall, these programs promote inclusive growth by creating income opportunities, empowering marginalized groups, and improving community self-reliance. Hindi ko lang po na-include po dito sa aking presentation, but if you're going to visit Cotabato City po, yung amin pong mga kababaihan doon sa Cotabato City, meron na po silang tinatawag na BWAB or Bangsamoro Indigenous Women na what do you call this, kiosk po sa loob ng airport. Binebenta po nila yung mga gawa po nila, no? Dun po sa isang destination na empower po natin yung mga kababaihan at na-empower po natin yung mga indigenous community, no? So why comprehensive planning is important? Number one, it integrates sectors. Comprehensive planning brings together different tech sectors. Bakit ko po ibinigay si tourism as an example? Kasi po, hindi lamang po turismo ang pinopromote po natin when it comes to comprehensive planning, no? Pasok po dyan yung mga infrastructure, pasok po yung health, pasok po yung education, pasok po yung environment, and pasok po ang social services at mas marami pa po. This ensures that projects complement each other and work towards shared development goals rather than operating in isolation. Number two, it prevents fragmented policies as well. By using a unified planning framework, government agencies and local government units avoid creating conflicting or overlapping policies. This promotes policy coherence and ensures that programs are aligned with national and local priorities. And for number three, it supports long-term development. Comprehensive planning looks beyond short-term political cycles and focuses on sustainable long-term goals. It ensures that the development initiatives continue to benefit communities over time and are resilient to future challenges. Ang tawag po namin dyan sa Development Academy of the Philippines is Hiraya Manawari, yung tinatawag po naming futures thinking. Dapat po, sabi nga po nung iba, parang overthinking daw po yung ginagawa, but it's not. It's being prepared and being ready for the future na hindi lamang po tayo resilient na mga Filipino, handa po tayo anuman po ang mangyari, no? To avoid risk po at yung to mitigate the negative impacts po ng mga future risks na darating pa po sa atin. Whether it's a pandemic, climate problems, or natural disasters po, kaya po nating mga Filipino, no? The other one po, na-explain ko na po ito kanina, but we will be including 3 bullets po for the importance of inclusive planning. It prevents elite capture. Inclusive planning ensures that decision-making is not dominated by political elites, powerful investors, or influential groups. By involving ordinary citizens and grassroots organizations, development benefits are shared more fairly and not monopolized by few individuals. Sa nakikita ko po mga kasama, ito po yung problema po na meron po kami ngayon sa turismo. Dahil po dominated na po tayo ng Korean K-pop, no? Mga Chinese movies, mga Japanese movies, bumababa po ang tingin ng Filipino sa kapwa niya Filipino kasi ang iniidolo niya po at mataas ang tingin niya sa mga Korean. Ako po personally, I graduated from an international school po in South Korea and I've been with different Korean people for 8 years. No, I even learned the language and everything from food to culture. And mas maganda po, no, hindi po pagiging bias bilang Filipino, mas maganda po ang kulturang Filipino compared po sa kultura ng mga Korean, to be honest po, no? But ang meron po ang mga Korean na wala ang mga Filipino is they are nationalistic. They love their country so much, they know their history, and meron po silang goal na anuman pong produkto ang pumasok sa amin, uunahin ko yung bansa ko, uunahin ko yung Filipino. Bakit po kaya tayong mga Filipino, meron pong elite caption na na-mention po dito sa aking presentation. Sad to say people, I came from Filipino-Chinese family po, but dominated po ng Filipino-Chinese community and now po mga Chinese po ang nagdo-dominate sa business po. No? Filipinos po are alipin when we go out of our country. Wag na po nating i-sugarcoat. Ang Filipino po ay alipin sa ibang bansa. Pero pag nasa Pilipinas po, alipin din po tayo dito sa bansa natin. No? You go to the malls, dominated po ng mga Korean, dominated po ng mga Chinese investors. Hindi po masama ang investment, pero we have to give something for the Filipino people kasi kaya po nating umunlad on our own, no? It empowers marginalized groups. Inclusive planning gives voice to women, youth, indigenous peoples, persons with disability and low-income communities. Their participation allows policies and projects to reflect their real needs and priorities, promoting social equity. Ako po as a part of the tourism sector, dito po ako nalulungkot. If you're going to visit the US, I know most of you po nakapunta na po sa Amerika or nakapunta na po sa ibang bansa. Ako po, I'll give US as an example here when it comes to being empowered. Pag pumunta po kayo ng Amerika at kayo po ay mag-practicum, for example po sa isa pong hotel, makikita niyo po ang mga lumpo, mga pipe, mga bulag, mga bingi, mga lahat ng klase ng disabilities po. Pero doon po hindi po nila nararamdaman na they are disabled. Kasi po may job opportunities po for every individual, whether you're a PWD, you're a woman, you're a Muslim, you're a Christian or what, meron pong empowerment na ibinibigay po sa kanila. Kinukuha po yung talent. Sa Philippines po, hindi na po nabibigyan ng pansin yung mga PWDs po natin, bagkus kinukutsa pa po nung iba. Ang nakakalungkot po kapwa Filipino, you check your social media accounts, ang dami pong mga hate comments po pagka po may nakikitang mga bulag na kumakanta, may nakikita pong mga establishments po na may mga Down syndrome po yung mga employees, no? Hindi po maiwasan. Ngayon lang po sa latest po na MMFF or yung Metro Manila Film Festival, nanalo po ang isang batang may PWD as the best actress. You check the comments po, napakaraming hate comments. Hindi pa po handa ang Filipino pagka ganon if we are not into inclusivity. Kasi yung bata pong yun, hindi po siya normal. No, hindi po normal ang kanyang pag-arte pero nabigyan po siya ng ganong talent at in-enhance niya pero yung mga kapwa Filipino po dinidegrade po siya, no? So yun po ang importance ng planning at kailangan po we educate other people about the importance of inclusivity, no? And the other one, it builds trust. When people are consulted and their opinions are valued, they develop trust in government. Transparency and participation strengthen public confidence and reduce conflict in development projects, no? Ito po yung importance ng inclusive planning. And for the last one, why sustainable planning is very important. It protects the environment. Sustainable planning ensures that natural resources such as forests, rivers, coastlines, and wildlife are conserved. Development projects are designed to minimize pollution, reduce waste, and prevent environmental degradation. Sa turismo po ang nakakalungkot, mababa po ang tingin sa amin sa tourism ng marami pong mga programs. No, hindi ko na po i-mention kung ano po yung mga courses po na iyon. Pero kapag ka po meron pong mga magulang, naririnig po namin ito, no? Pag meron pong mga magulang, meron pong mga kapwa estudyante ang mga estudyante, lagi po nilang tinatanong, bakit ka nag-tourism? Course yan ng bobo. Ganun po ka-worse ang word. Course yan ng bobo, course yan ng tanga. Course yan ng papogi, course yan ng paganda. Kapag tinanong niyo po yung mga tao po na nagme-mention sa amin, kasi raw po wala kaming board exam at wala pong bar exam. But as you notice po, the environment, the culture, the climate change, the integration of equity, ito po ay hindi po nami-measure po ng data. At araw-araw po nagbabago po yung mga data. Kaya hanggang ngayon po, nahihirapan pong mag-produce po ng board exam, no, for tourism, yung mga different agencies po natin or mga accreditation bodies po na meron tayo. But I would like to use this opportunity, everyone, that tourism is good, maayos po ang turismo, pero gusto po naming manghingi ng tulong sa marami pong individual, particularly to the government sector, na in our own little ways, let us show respect to every individual. Kasi yun po yung number one na pinopromote po namin in tourism. Respect to the environment, respect to culture, respect to resiliency, respect to equity, and respect to the society. Kung tayo po, hindi po tayo marunong rumespeto sa nakapaligid sa atin, wala po tayo respeto sa batas, hindi po talaga tayo unlad. No? Hindi po tayo unlad. And respect is sustainable. No, yung simpleng bagay po na simpleng pagtatapon po ng basura sa labas, kung meron lamang po talagang mas matibay pa pong batas na putulan ng daliri yung nagtapon ng basura, mas maganda po eh. No? It may be morbid or may be very harsh, pero nakakalungkot po here in the Philippines. We have that one particular data na kapag karaw po ang bawat Filipino sa isang araw, magtapon po ng napakaliit na upos lang po ng sigarilyo, kaya po nating tabunan yung malaking portion ng EDSA, no? Yung problema pa lamang po sa basura when it comes to sustainable planning, sa protection pa lang po ng environment, hindi na po natin magawa yung simpleng disiplina, yung simpleng respect sa nature. Kaya po bawat lugar po, no? Let's go back to planning. Bawat lugar po, pag nagpaplano po tayo, kailangan po kasama po itong maliliit na detalye po na to. Kapag po nagtapon po ng basura, hulihin po dapat. From the barangay level pa lang po, dapat ini-ensure na po natin to. Makakita na nagtapon ng basurang maliit, i-penalize po natin or bigyan po ng sanksyon. Kasi wala pong takot ang mga Filipino. No, wala na pong takot ang mga Filipino. Now, these are the challenges that we have. We have the political interference. Some projects are influenced by political interests rather than technical studies or community needs. This can lead to approval of unviable projects, favoritism, and misuse of public resources. Naging visible po ito sa DPWH na hanggang ngayon po napakalaking issue. No? The other one po is weak coordination. Poor communication and collaboration among national agencies, local government units, and private partners can cause duplication of efforts, delays, and inconsistent implementation of project na na-mention ko po sa inyo kanina as an example, yung Tagalog Fishing Village. Ngayon po, we're always doing our best po para po ma-mitigate po yung ganong problem na hanggat maaari po walang ganong kaingay po na hindi po maiwasan pa sa ngayon na hanggang ngayon po yung Council po ng Tourism here in Valenzuela, we are coordinating with every individual, particularly the barangay and the barangay tanod po for peace and order na mamitigate po yung ingay na hindi po kinasanayan ng mga taong nakatira po sa Tagalog Fishing Village. Hindi po kasi ibig sabihin na improve natin yung lugar, nakatulong na tayo sa kanila eh, no? Always remember that no amount of progress can buy history, peace of mind, and respect to the society, no? And the other one, we also have here the funding delays, delays in budget, releases and funding approvals, slow down project implementation. This can result in unfinished project, increased costs, and loss of public trust na alam ko po, alam niyo na po kung ano pong nangyayari sa bansa natin ngayon. Hindi na po kailangan ulit-ulitin. Hindi lamang po sa DPWH ang may problema, hindi lang po sa DOH, hindi lang po sa DepEd. Marami pong ahensya po ng Pilipinas ang nangangailangan po ng tulong ng aking mga docmates ngayon pa lamang po at after po nating makagraduate itong degree na ito. No? Capacity gaps, some local government units lacks technical skills, trained personnel, and institutional systems needed for effective planning and project management. Sa amin lang po sa tourism, nakakalungkot po, no? Ang karamihan po sa nasa tourism office when it comes to development po, mga engineers, mga architects lamang po. At bihira pong nabibigyan ng importansya ang mga tourism graduates kagaya po ng mga estudyante po namin, no? Kasi po yun pong technical skills ng mga students po ng nag-graduate ng tourism, hindi lamang po sila hard skills but also soft skills are being learned in schools, no? Kailangan po, napaka-importante po na may values po tayong in-embed doon sa ating mga employees, no? Yung mga technical skills po na meron. Kailangan po matapos na po yung palakasan system, matapos po yung porket ka mag-anak ni ganto, kitang-kita po natin sa mga lumalabas pong datos sa balita na yung mga nanalo po sa mga biddings po sa government, yung mga nanalo sa bidding are also congressmen, no, mga iba't ibang klase po ng mga family members po ng mga kongresista or may relation po doon sa mga nasa loob, no? So, yun pong capacity gap, napakalaki po na kailangan nating i-address. And the other one, I know Attorney Carl can help me with this, yung mga legal disputes, conflict related to land ownership, with all due respect sa mga hindi po namin kasama kanina sa unang subject po namin, na pag-usapan po namin ang land ownership, particularly expropriation, with the help of our dearest DocMate Attorney Carl, no? So, conflicts related to land ownership, contracts, procurement, and environmental compliance can delay or stop projects, increasing costs and uncertainty. Lagi pong meron pong mga legal disputes na meron dito sa atin sa Philippines. Now, what are the possible governance solutions? Number one is institutional strengthening. Government agencies and local government units must invest in capacity building. Ang education po ay non-stop. Kaya ako po, alam ko po yung hirap ng lahat po ng mga kaklasmate ko po na nandito. Imbis na nagpapahinga po tayo ng linggo, nandito po tayo ngayon nag-aaral because of one goal, of course. I know lahat po tayo, we want to help the Philippines. No, it may sound cliche, but we all want to help build the country, no, through capacity building, because learning shouldn't stop. Kaya po tayo nandito ngayong hapon. Organizational development and systems improvement is a must. This includes training staff. When I say training po, kailangan po non-stop ang training. Kasi every time po nagbabago po ang data. Ngayon po pinasok na po tayo ng AI. Papasok na po tayo sa tinatawag po nating Industrial Revolution 5.0 or nandoon na po yata tayo ngayon, no? Industrial Revolution 5.0. No? So kailangan po, we have to be trained. Wag po tayong matakot mag-aral, no? And hindi lamang po sa atin. I know hindi po kayo takot mag-aral, pero we have to encourage more people to learn. Hindi lamang po for the diploma, but for us to become an instrument of change ourselves. Improving planning units. Kapag tayo po ay may well-trained staff, may improve po natin yung ating mga planning, no? And strengthening coordination mechanisms to ensure effective project management. The other one is legal compliance. All projects must strictly follow existing laws, regulations, and policies. No? Stakeholder participation, na naging highlight po kanina ng aking discussion. Meaningful involvement of communities, civil society organizations, private sector partners, and other stakeholders ensure that projects reflect real needs, gain public support, and are more likely to succeed. I would like to give this as an example po, no, when it comes to real needs and gain public support. Isa po sa naging issue noon pong December ay kakasya raw po ang 500 pesos para po sa Noche Buena. Na alam ko po pinagtawanan po ng maraming Pilipino at marami po sa atin dito. Baka lahat pa nga po tayo, no? So yung real needs po, nawawalan po ng tiwala ang community po or ang mga mamamayan sa gobyerno kapag nagre-release po tayo ng gantong mga hindi po na-address na real needs ng taong bayan, no? Na 500 pesos kakasya para sa Noche Buena. Kakasya naman po talaga. Kakasya po talaga kung kakainin mo bigas lang, toyo, tsaka asin. No, baka meron ka pang candy po na makakain or tsokolate na halagang 5 piso, 10 piso. Pero ano po ba yung totoong kailangan ng mga tao? No, kailangan po we always have to do public consultation. We have to consult the community. Kailangan po sila po ang una. Tao ang una. Ano po, sabi po ng ating mahal na Mayor Oka Malapitan, tao ang una, no? And the other one, transparency. Government should openly share information about project plans, budgets, procurement processes, and outcomes. Na alam ko po, medyo mahirap po itong i-defend sa ngayon, no? Transparency discourages corruptions, builds public trust, and allows citizens to monitor government actions. Yung transparency po sa Filipino, naniniwala po ako na hindi pa po huli ang lahat. Kaya po nating mga Filipino na maging transparent sa ginagawa po natin. I would like to give an example again po in our city kung saan po ako isa po ngayon involved po ng maging matagal pa pong panahon, no, sa Cotabato City. Doon po sa area po ng BARM, they are promoting moral governance, no? Moral governance po na ang framework po is hindi lamang po anchored sa nanumpa ka po sa iyong tungkulin during the time po na ikaw ay sumumpa or ikaw ay nag-take ng iyong oath doon po sa posisyon na na-hire ka or na-appoint ka. Pero meron ka pong accountability to the Divine One, no? Ako po ay isang proud Catholic pero yun pong moral governance ay nakaka-anchor po sa Quran, no, na sila po bilang mga Muslim, no, hindi ka man mahuli ngayon sa ginagawa mong kalokohan, meron kang isang pananagutan doon sa Divine One or sa Creator, kay Allah, no? Na talaga pong kung makikita po ninyo, if you're going to visit at mabigyan po ng pagkakataon na makavisit po sa mga Muslim communities, particularly po in BARM, ang mga tao po papasok po ng bago po mag alas 8 ng umaga, pero uuwi po sabay-sabay ng alas 5 kasi takot po sila, no? Takot po sila. We all know na mga Muslims po ay very religious. They pray 5 times a day po at kapag ka po pinag-uusapan ng moral governance po na tinatawag po doon sa BARM, no? Ay yung mga employees po talaga pong sumusunod po sila. Kapag ka po kayo po ay nag-conduct ng interview kasi I'm conceptualizing a book po about moral governance with the help of the city office po ng Cotabato City, talaga pong takot po yung mga employees. Hindi po dahil may fear na in-embed sa kanilang mayor, pero talagang pag tinanong mo, ba't hindi pa tayo umuwi? Ay nako, kita yan ni Allah. Alam yan ng Lord, alam yan ng God yung ginagawa natin. Kaya wag tayong umuwi ng maaga, alas 5 tayo uwi, no? So hindi pa po huli ang lahat when it comes to transparency. Kung magkakaroon lang po tayo ng disiplina, aayusin po natin yung ating planning. Again po, it has to be comprehensive, no? It has to be inclusive and it has to be sustainable. Ma-achieve po natin tong mga bagay po na gusto po nating makita in the future. And of course, the most important thing that we have to have as a part of the governance solution is yung monitoring po na tinatawag po natin. Regular tracking and evaluation of project progress help identify problems early, ensure targets are met, and allow timely corrective actions. This promotes accountability and continuous improvement, no? Hindi naman po pag sinabing monitor, kailangan lagi pong perfect. Magmo-monitor po tayo para ma-address po agad natin lahat ng gaps as early as possible to mitigate all the problems, no? So, project managers po of the future, kung kayo po kayo po ang involved in planning, very important po ang compliance officers, no? Risk managers, ethical leaders, and coordinators. Si compliance officers po, they ensure activities follows laws, policies, contracts, and regulations. Nawa po yung compliance officer na i-hire natin, right person po doon sa compliance po, no? Hindi po out of school youth nung kabataan na hindi po talaga nag-review or hindi po nag-aral mabuti or wala pong specialization about this. Risk managers, of course, they should identify and mitigate risk that may affect the project. Kailangan po may experience. Kung wala man pong experience, at least well-trained, no? Ethical leaders promote integrity, fairness, and transparency. Coordinators po, facilitate communication and collaboration. Ang isa po ulit na susi dito sa part po na ito ng ating discussion, napaka-importante po ng role ng community involvement or community participation. Kasi kahit sila po, no, yun po kasing malasakit based on my own experience, nanggagaling po iyon dun sa mga taong nakatira po dun sa isang particular na lugar. Kung kayo po ay mag-establish po sa isang community, let's take for example, na-expropriate natin, bigyan po naman natin ng oportunidad yung mga tao pong nakatira po doon, no? Huwag po tayong magdala ng kung sino-sino po. Nangyayari po ito sa amin sa turismo eh. Ang nangyayari po sa amin sa tourism, mga tourism professionals po ng Manila, pupunta po ng ganitong lugar, sila po yung maghahari, magdadala po sila ng mga tour guides po nila doon na wala naman pong alam doon sa lugar. ending po, may mga nadidisgrasya po, may mga, though it may be superstition, no? Yun pong mga namamaligno, nanununo sa punso, kasi po hindi po nila alam yung practice po doon sa lugar. And then after that po, magkakaroon ng maling connotation. I'm referring to Siquijor as an example. No, si Siquijor po napakagandang lugar ng Siquijor. Pero sa Manila, ang thinking po natin sa Siquijor may mga aswang. Kasi nga po, ang pinapadala po natin doon ng mga tour guides, ng mga tourism professionals po para mag-improve ng area, mga turista po na galing rin dito sa Maynila na walang idea about the culture. Hindi po nabibigyan ng pagkakataon yung mismo mga local members to become the tour guides or to become a part of the planning process. So hindi po nila na-share sa kanila na hindi po ito maligno, ganito po yung traditional practice namin. Naniniwala po kami sa ganito, naniniwala kami sa ganyan. Same situation po with BARM. Ang thinking po ng maraming mga, I'm not here to defend BARM po, no, kung meron pong against po sa Muslim community, no, this is just for the context of my own experience at argument po about tourism. Alam niyo po, kung kayo po ang pupunta po sa BARM, bibilib po kayo sa mga Muslim. Napaka-simple po ng buhay. Kakain po, nakakamay pare-pareho, mayor, congressman, salo-salo po, kasama po ang mga lokal na tao. Kasama po nilang kumakain. Ano po? So ano po ang bottom line po nito? Sana po mabigyan po natin ng pagkakataon at dapat pong bigyan ng pagkakataon yung mga local community to become part of this planning at sila po sana ang mag-spearhead, bigyan natin ng mataas na posisyon, no? Maging project managers po sana sila or ilan man po dito sa part ng mga top positions na meron po tayo, no? The other one, it's very important for us to have the ethics. Ethics avoid conflicts of interest. Fair procurement, accountability, and public trust. Avoid conflicts of interest. Public officials and project managers must not use their position for personal gain. Decisions should be based in public interest, not family ties, political connections, or financial benefits. This ensures fairness and credibility in project implementation. Kailangan po, alam ko po medyo mahirap pa minsan. Madali pong sabihin pero napakahirap, no? Yung conflict of interest. Maliit pong bagay pero napakalaki po ang impact po kung tutuusin. Ano po ang mga personal conflict of interest na ginagawa natin? Nasa opisina po tayo, kukuha po ng 2 typewriting, papagamit po sa anak. Yun pong stapler po, doon mag-staple po ng mga gamit po or mga reports po ng kanilang mga anak. Yun pong part lang po na yun, that's already a conflict of interest. Whether it's big or small, we are accountable for what we are doing. Kailangan po meron tayong integrity, no? So ethics po is very important and it's very important part of planning. Kapag kayo po ay involved in planning, kailangan po you have to have that very strong values, not just for the society, not just for the economy, but of course for the environment and every individual, no? So the other one we have here, the fair procurement. All procurement processes must follow transparent and competitive bidding procedures na hindi po nagagawa po ng maayos sa Philippines. Alam ko po, agree po kayong lahat dito. The other one is accountability. Hanggang ngayon po, sigaw nga po ng maraming Filipino, 2026 na ilan pa lamang po ang napapanagot. Wala pang nananagot kung tutuusin, no? Si Diskaya po, talagang nilantad niya po ang sarili niya sa Kumunoy. Ano po, dahil po sa kanyang mamahaling payong, sa kanya pong mahal na payong. Pero yung accountability po, if you're going to compare our country to Japan, no, even during the old times, pagka po ang Hapon po ang nagkaroon po ng problema, nagkaroon po siya ng pagkakasala sa taong bayan, nagsasaksak po. In South Korea, I can still remember when I was there, former President No Mu-hyun, tumalon po siya sa bundok, no? That was 2013 po or 2012. I was first year college po during that time. Tumalon po siya sa bundok sa sobrang kahihiyan kasi he wants to be held accountable for what he did. Tayong mga Filipino po, no? Hindi man po tayo kasali kasi hindi naman po tayo mga kurap, ano, hindi naman po tayo salbahing mga mamamayan, kaya nga po tayo naririto. Pero yung ilan pong mga opisyales ng gobyerno, huling-huli na po tumatakas pa. No, wala pong sense of accountability. No, and important na sa lahat po is the public trust. Ethical behavior builds confidence in government institutions. When citizens see honesty and professionalism in public service, they are more likely to support development programs and participate in governance. Ang problema po sa Philippines nowadays, ayaw na pong tumulong, ayaw na pong makibahagi, ayaw na pong bumoto ng iba kasi po yun po ang una pong sinasabi. Pare-pareho rin naman pong lahat, no? I'm hoping po and I'm always praying for a better Philippines at kaya po natin siyang gawin. Kaya po ma-achieve siya ng bawat Filipino, no? So for my policy recommendations, we have to strengthen planning offices. Local and national planning offices should be equipped with qualified personnel. Hindi po kakilala, hindi ka mag-anak, hindi ka ibigan lang. No? Adequate budget and modern planning tools. Yun pong mga planning tools natin dito mga kasama. Old school po, panahon pa ni Kopong-Kopong. Ang ibang bansa po ngayon, AI na po lahat ng gamit. Tayo po sa Philippines hanggang ngayon may problem pa po when it comes to adopting AI, when it comes to embracing AI. Kasi po ang mga Filipino, particularly the students, ang AI po nakikita nila as just a normal tool. No, it's just a normal tool for them. Do a plan for me, tapos na inedit, lumabas po, isasubmit na. Hindi po nila alam kung paano gamitin. Ang kailangan po natin ngayon is digital ready, no? Mga digital ready or digital literate na mga people na po. This will strengthen these offices, improves data analysis, project prioritization, and evidence-based decision making, no? The other one, institutionalized public-private partnership or PPP. It should be formally integrated into government planning and investment frameworks. Clear policies and standard procedures ensure transparency, risk sharing, and long-term sustainability of joint projects. The other one, again po, improve monitoring system. Government must enhance monitoring and evaluation mechanism to track project progress, identify problems early, and measure impact. This ensures timely corrective actions and better project outcomes. The other one is capacity building na na-explain ko na po ng maayos kanina, and yun pong bago po na include ko po dito is yung digital governance. The use of digital platforms for planning, procurement, reporting, and citizens' feedback improves efficiency, transparency, and public access to information. Digital systems reduce corruption and speed up service delivery. Kung gusto niyo pong makakuha po nung copy po nung NTDP, meron po akong kopya. Pwede ko pong i-share dun sa chat group natin mamaya. Hopefully po kaya po nung file kahit medyo malaki po siya, yung Philippine Development Plan. However, some of it po are accessible naman po online or kahit yung QR code or link na lang po ang isend ko po sa inyo mamaya. Now, the key takeaways po, malapit na po kung matapos mga docmate. Planning is governance. Planning is not just a technical activity. It's a core function of public administration. Through planning, government sets priorities, allocates resources, and makes decisions that shape development outcomes. This reflects how power and authority are exercised responsibly. Law shapes projects. All projects are guided by legal frameworks such as procurement laws, environmental laws or regulations, and public-private partnerships. These laws ensure that projects are implemented fairly, transparently, and in the public interest. Public-private partnership expand capacity. Collaboration between government and the private sector allows access to additional funding, technology, and expertise. This partnership model helps deliver projects more efficiently and at a larger scale. Meron na po tayong mga napag-usapan po na ganyan, no? In Valenzuela, we have a lot. No, ay not a lot naman po, parang dalawa po. We have the Marolas Public Market and the Valenzuela Town Center. No? I'm sure in Caloocan City meron din po. Communities must benefit. Ito po yung isa po sa puso nito pong mga takeaways po na gusto ko pong i-highlight ngayon, no? Development projects should improve the lives of local residents through jobs, livelihood opportunities, and better services. Community participations ensures that projects respond to real needs and promote inclusive growth. Importante po ang tao. Ulitin ko po yung kasabihan po or yung slogan ba ang tawag doon ni ng ating mahal na mayor, no? Tao ang una, no? Talagang dapat naman po, no, we're doing this for the people. At the end of the day po, uh, it's not about the money. It's not about how much we earn, but how much we put, how much lives we actually touch because of our projects. At yun po napaka-importante, no? And the other one po, environment must be protected. Sustainable development requires protecting natural resources such as forests, coastal areas, and wildlife. Projects should minimize environmental harm to ensure long-term ecological balance and resilience. People, ulitin ko po, this particular presentation is anchored in tourism because this is my expertise. But if you will think more about the public administration, we all came from the environment. Lahat po ng ini-enjoy natin, it's because of nature. No, naranasan po natin yan nung panahon po ng pandemic. Sabi nga po ni Kim Chiu, bawal lumabas o bawal lumabas. At napakaraming mga Filipino po ang gustong lumabas ng bahay. Imagine niyo po, no? 10 years from now, we're going to tell this to the kids po, no? Or to the teenagers na alam mo ba, dumating ang araw na lalabas na ako ng bahay. Bawal yon. Bawal lumabas. Illegal ang paglabas ng bahay. Na dumating ang araw na umubo ka lang bawal. Bawal kang lumabas ng hindi naka-shield, bawal kang lumabas ng hindi naka-mask. No, na it's part of our history na talagang kailangan po nating protektahan ng nature. No? Hindi po ganun kaimportante ang pera kasi po dahil po sa kalapastanganan ng marami po, nananahimik na paniki, kinain po, nakaperwisyo po tayo sa maraming tao. No? Ibalik po natin ang respeto sa environment. No? No amount of progress can buy history and protection for the environment. No, kahit anong project po 'yan, kailangan po i-consider po natin yung kahalagahan po ng mga environmental laws na meron po tayo at protektahan po natin yung environment na meron po tayo, no? And the core message for everyone, effective planning and good governance ensure that development is legal, ethical, and sustainable. Planning transforms vision into reality. It ensures development is ethical, participatory, and sustainable. At gusto ko po mag-iwan ng quotation sa inyo. Planning succeeds when it uplifts communities, protects our environment, and secures opportunities for the future. Thank you for listening. Mabuhay ang turismo at mabuhay po ang bawat Filipino. God bless everyone po. Maraming salamat.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir, no, for your comprehensive discussion. Again, the discussion emphasized the national planning frameworks provide the overall development direction of the country, so serving as long-term guide for governance, budgeting, and program implementation. In the Philippines, no, these frameworks ensure that government actions are anchored, no, on inclusive growth, sustainability, and resilience. For example, the large infrastructure projects such as national highways or flood control systems are conceptualized, no, within national plans to ensure consistency with the broader economic and social goal. At the local level, so sabi nga ni Sir kanina, the local planning frameworks translate national priorities into actionable programs that directly address community needs. So local government units prepare development plans that reflect their unique economic conditions, no, geographic realities, and social concerns. For instance, no, coastal municipality may prioritize disaster risk reduction and livelihood programs for fisher folk, even if the national agenda broadly focuses on infrastructure and industrial growth. A key insight, no, from the presentation in discussion was the importance of vertical alignment between national and local plans, because alignment ensures that local projects can access national funding, technical support, and policy backing. So an example is when a city's housing project aligns with national housing policies, making it eligible for support from national housing agencies rather than relying solely on local funds. The discussion also highlighted horizontal integration within the local level, where sectoral plans, no, such as the health, education, and infrastructure, must complement one another. For Because poor coordination often leads to fragmented projects such as building health centers without access roads or utilities. No, integrated planning helps maximize resources and possible improve service delivery outcomes. Another important point was the role of evidence-based planning. Both national and local frameworks rely on data. So situational analysis and stakeholder consultation. Our presenter mentioned about data analysis, how we'll be able to use data a while ago. No? So let's say, for example, no, poverty mapping, no, and demographic data guide. No? So LGUs and identifying priority barangays for social protection programs, ensuring that limited resources are directed where they are most needed. So the presenter also discussed the participatory nature of planning frameworks. So citizen involvement through consultation and public hearings strengthen transparency and accountability. Because when communities participate in identifying problems and solutions, such as prioritizing water system or school buildings, project gains stronger public support and higher chances of sustainability. Of course, sabi nga ni presenter, monitoring and evaluation were emphasized as a critical component of planning frameworks. We are very good in planning. We are very good in designing programs, no? But most common issues in concern is the monitoring and evaluation. Okay? Plans are not static document, but living tools that must be reviewed and adjusted based on performance result. Let's say, for example, if a livelihood program does not increase household income as expected, so LGUs are encouraged to revise strategies rather than continue ineffective intervention. So again, the discussion underscored that national and local planning frameworks are not merely compliance requirements, but practical tools for effective governance and project success. When properly aligned, I believe, no, data-driven and participatory, these frameworks helps ensure that development projects deliver real, measurable benefits to communities while remaining consistent with national development goals. So I think that's it. Thank you so much to our presenter and good afternoon, everyone.